Bro, I knew the whole time that Mizu was,
What? A samurai? Whoa. Duh.
obviously. I mean, that's in the title of the show.
I was being facetious. Okay.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Nerdy Volume Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Netflix hit animation series, Blue Eye Samurai. To give you a brief synopsis of the show, Blue Eye Samurai is about Mizu, a wandering samurai, on a manhunt to find those who hurt their family when they were a kid. Now, the only difference is Mizu is a half-breed and cannot easily walk around the streets of Japan. So, just to give you that's just a brief summary of the entire show. So, before we go on with this episode, remember spoilers. And also, let's not forget the amazing cast. We have Maya Erskine, we have George Takei, and we have Brenda Song, just to name a few of the characters. Maya played Mizu, George Takei played Seki, Brenda Song played Akemi, just a few of the characters that were there. And if you guys are wondering who Masi was playing, Masi Oka from the show, is it Superheroes? He played Ringo. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Masi is either from Superheroes or he's that YouTube kid, but I don't think he's the YouTube kid.
The YouTube kid.
Yeah, the YouTube kid that was super good with effects and stuff like that.
No, he was from Heroes. Yeah, he was from Heroes.
He was from Heroes. All right, cool. Yeah,
his name was also Hiro in Heroes.
And also the creators Michael Green and Amber Noizumi for giving us this amazing series. And I do hope there is another season because this show was incredible. I mean, we have characters like Mizu, who is hardened to the world and understands their place in the world, being half breed, half Japanese and half Western. It wasn't about color of skin, more of the what part of the world they're from, And then you have other characters like Ringo, who was the how would you say, like the aspiring samurai that was 100% like influenced by Mizu in the beginning, And then you have Akemi, who is this princess that doesn't want to live under the same, or doesn't want to be trapped by society, social norms. Yeah. She wants to marry for love. She wants to be in love. She wants to have a simple life. You just see that these characters all, like in the beginning, I'm like, what would this girl have anything to do with Mizu? What would Akemi and Mizu have anything to do with each other? And then later on, you find out like who ties them together. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, all right. And all these characters really had their own, story to unfold. And that's why I think that this show is definitely one to watch. And I would definitely like to thank Leo here for recommending this show.
Yeah.
So what made you want to, recommend it?
Well, first of all, I have to thank some of the people on TikTok. I don't know who they are. I just know, they came on my For You page and it was like animated shows to watch. And this was one of them. There are a bunch of them, by the way. Bunch of anime series that are kind of like on fire right now, and this is definitely one of them. So I watched it, and after watching it, I was like, okay, I gotta tell Iz and Randolph to watch this show because it's pretty lit. it's pretty dang good, So yeah, I enjoyed it. There's only one thing I really didn't enjoy, and we can talk about that once we get to the parts where my favorite part, talking about the negatives. But really, I love this show. I thought it was really good. I like Mizu's character. I don't know, because her character is interesting, right? Because first of all, this is based in feudal Japan, right?
Yeah.
So it's big samurai time. If you're a samurai, you're the dopest. But at the same time, if you know anything about that time period, and pretty much any time period, any place in that time period, women are not regarded as a high standard, right? They have their place in society, and it's not anywhere where they are today, definitely. So and so women in that time period are meant for pretty much two things: to make the family rich by selling them as concubines or as brides or as some kind of property too, and second, to make children, right? That's
Hmm.
really their only two jobs in feudal Japan, or really in any time period at that time. So yeah, but Mizu doesn't follow that, obviously, because she becomes a samurai. And if you know anything that I don't know very much, but I know a little bit, and I know that women samurai was not a thing because women touching swords is not a thing, right?
At the
Women
time,
touching
yeah.
sword would become, the sword would become like disgraced or whatever, and you just have a whole situation, which you kind of see a little bit of that, right? Whenever she goes and lives with the sword father,
Hmm.
which the sword father is blind, he doesn't see anything, but he makes swords, obviously, his name,
Hmm.
and yeah, like at the end of their, like when she's about to leave him, when she's grown up, she's gonna start taking her vengeance on the Western people, on the white devils, as the people of Japan call them. She wanted to tell him that she was a girl, but he didn't want to take it. He already knew. You already knew that he knew, but he's like, nah, don't tell me. There's nothing
Yeah.
you need to tell me, right?
You could hear
Because
it in Mizu's voice. I was
yeah,
all
yeah,
like, "You ain't fooling nobody."
you ain't fooling nobody with that voice,
Yeah,
but
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 I didn't care even. I was like, "Okay, she's a chick. All right, dope. Who's she fighting?"
right, for us we don't care. But
Yeah.
and so, but what I liked about her character was that she was like a good a strong character. She knew how to fight really well,
Really
right?
well.
But
Hmm.
even when she knew how to fight and she was really good at it, even the people that were difficult to beat, she had a little bit of a hard time. It wasn't like she was just overpowering. There's a lot
Yeah.
of animes right now, right, and which I enjoy. I forget what they're always called, but you'll remind me here in a second, where the character is overpowering, and there's just the power between them and the enemy is night and day, right?
It's
They
like
can never be
dwarfing.
touched.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. This wasn't that. She was just barely better than everybody
Yeah.
else
Hmm.
to get through, and not die in the process. Although she almost did die a few times. So I
A couple
enjoyed
times.
that
Yeah.
she wasn't OP, right? She was
Yeah.
just strong enough to overcome, right?
Absolutely.
So I thought that was great about Mizu's character. I
Oh yeah.
loved Ringo. I don't know about you, but Ringo was probably my favorite character in the whole thing. I enjoyed listening to him. He's like, I'm useful, you see?
Yeah. He is useful.
Yeah, he was great. He was a great guy. Ringo had no hands, right?
None.
He said he was born. I think if I remember well, he
Yeah.
said he
He
was
was born that way.
born with no hands, so he just
Yeah.
had stubs at the end of his arms.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
he just
God
had
didn't
like
want him to fight.
leather. No, no, but he had leather wraps, and he would stick. Whether it was he was a
Yeah.
noodle maker, right?
Yeah. And he considered himself the best in the world
Until he went to a
until he
specific
went
town,
started going. Yeah.
and it was like way better than and that's where he broke down. He's like, what's my purpose in life? Like, I
Right.
thought I was good at noodles, but this is noodles.
What am I doing?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt bad for his character for that reason, because yeah, he was a character who was looking for his purpose in life.
Hmm.
He was trying real hard to be something, not just an impedance on people, because that's how he felt, right? Being
Right.
that he had no hands, he felt like he couldn't do anything, and
Hmm.
that noodles was really the only thing, until he tasted real, like, delicious noodles, and then he's like, wow, I can't even do noodles, and I thought I was able to do that. So he's like, I was useless.
Yeah.
So, but you
I
see
like.
that his character grows
Yeah.
as it moves on, right?
It grew. It grew very linear for him, and
Yeah,
it was really cool to see that. And even though Mizu was like pushing him away in the beginning, you see that she comes back for him because I I don't know what her conscience awakened after getting stabbed. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, makes sense. I mean, like warriors come to their senses after almost facing death. Yeah, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
She's like, all right, I'll teach you. And then, hops out of the freaking castle. I'm just like, no, you were going to lose. That's all it is. Don't get me wrong here, dog.
One thing that Ringo would have been great at is a ninja, because he was
That's
remember,
right.
he had to wear a bell on him because he would just sneak up on her, and she's like, how,
Hmm.
how are you doing?
Hmm.
You're a big dude, and you're like right in front of me. 2 seconds later, I didn't even hear
Hmm.
you coming. And he's like, huh? I don't know, I'm stealthy.
100%.
So he could have been a really good ninja. So she made him wear a belt, which I thought that was hilarious. Like I said, I thought his character was his character was definitely my favorite character of the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he was very lighthearted. You know, his character was obviously the comedic relief, but also the growth of his character. You know, because I wouldn't say he was cowardly to begin with, because he wasn't. He from the moment he met Mizu, he's like, I gotta be a samurai, right? He wasn't never scared, but you could see
Right.
that he never wavered in his morals, right?
Mm-hmm.
What he thought was right, and what he thought was wrong. And he even and when Mizu did something horrible, he couldn't stand that. He's like, you know what? Forget this. I don't want to be your apprentice. This is what you are,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Which is interesting because
Man's got
Mizu's like,
principles.
this is who I am. So
Yeah.
she never hid that from him. So I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
interesting, and he didn't care that she was a girl. So
Yeah. And it was funny too, because like when the reveal was, you could see her everything, her aloha, so to speak.
yeah,
I was just like, yep, I thought so. I'm like, Ringo's like, oh my bad. Oops. Very kind. I can see why he'd be your favorite character for sure. I think my favorite character would probably have to be Madame Kaji,
I can
because
see that.
she's
Manikaji was pretty dope.
she was dope, because she was just
Yeah,
like, I need you. When she okay, so Madame Kaji's part of the story was how Akemi and Mizu link up, because I think that was the last place Tengen was. Tengen is the fiance of Akemi, and he was in the Madame Kaji's last brothel with the boys, and she needed some information, and it was funny because Akemi made this seller dude like walk all over Japan to try to. So she's like, no, we can do
oh
better.
yeah.
We can do better. She was lucky. Akemi was extremely lucky. Makes sense because she had 100% plot armor. Back to Madame Kaji. She had someone that was very important to her. She was the deaf. Was it the deaf and mute?
Who?
The girl that Mizu had to save for Madame Kaji. Remember?
She was, yes, definitely mute.
Because
Yes.
Mizu needed information on how to get cheap alcohol into Fowler's estate, and
Yeah.
Madame Kaji was the only one that could do that. And so she said, "You have to go kill someone." She's like, and then Mizu's like, "Oh, you want me to kill the head of that?" She's like, "No, I want you to kill the girl." When that happened, I was like, "Yo, storyline is insane." I was like,
Yeah.
she said that she promised that young girl, the deaf girl, that no man would touch her. But it's been 3 days or something, apparently, I believe. And Madam don't know, but she's in danger. And so she had to do the thing.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm with homegirl. You're good. And then she gives him a hug and oh. I gotta say, all of these storylines is incredible. They all have their own arc. Madame Kaji's arc, you have Akemi's arc, Mizu's arc is the whole show basically. You also have a short one with Ringo, and it's really cool. It was really cool to be able to follow it, and a lot of it had conclusions. When Mizu killed the girl, she escapes, but there's a little stupid. Oh, that kid. Oh, so
Oh, I know that little boy.
yeah. But I mean, I was just like, yo, you in a different time. Kids, I was like, kids aren't this, innocent people. They're not innocent because there's peasants, and then there's nobles, and then there's the poor. Or no, peasants is the poor, I think. Well, no,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
the dead poor, then there's the common folk, and then there's the nobles. If you
Yeah.
ain't common, you are dead broke. And that kid was probably dead broke, working like for pennies,
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just like, well, it makes sense because there might be a reward. Get like 2 shingles or shingles. I don't know the name of the gold.
The coins. Yeah, I don't know what they were called.
So Madam Kaji would definitely be my favorite because of that, and not only because Ming Na Wen was also the voice actress for it, but she was from Agents of Shield, which I don't think I finished that series. I think I ended on season 5 or 6.
I didn't finish it either.
I should probably finish it. I do remember that the main girl, Daisy, of that show, the actress, I forgot her name. She wanted that the Agents of Shield to be canon or canonized to Marvel. And I don't think it was. It might have been. It might be in Spider-Man Across the Multiverse. I mean,
everything is canon in that
from
that perspective.
You ever, yeah, anything multiversal wise, yeah, it's there.
Y- talking about Madam, what's her
Kaji.
name? Madam Kaji.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed her parts with Akemi. I thought those were really good
Yeah.
parts
Mm-hmm.
because like I enjoyed pretty much the end of it of their conversation, right, where it was where she was telling her like, look, you could do one of two things as a woman, right? You could either bow down to them and obey them all the way, or
Mm-hmm.
let them think that they're in charge, but in reality you're in charge. All you got to do is smile, all you got to do is, you
Yeah.
know, do a little flirting here, a little compliment there, and you're in control the whole time.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool because you kind of think about like, imagine this, like I think this is kind of the issue with a lot of female role lead female roles in a lot of these movies today,
Mm-hmm.
is that you make them one way, right? My complaint is always they're always one dimensional,
Mm-hmm.
right? Oh, they have to be strong and powerful like a man, and that's the only way. And if you any other way, whatever, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work. And I think Madam Kaji showed that there isn't. That's not true, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
She says men are strong, but they're stupid. You may be weak, but you're smart, and you're going to use that to take control of the men in your life, right? Whether it's the prince of Japan or whatever. I don't know if he was the prince of
No,
Japan
he
or
was
if he
the
was the
second
prince
son
of,
of the shogun.
yeah, second son of the shogun,
Yeah.
right? That's what he was. Um, she said there's a different way of having power. It doesn't always have to be strength and strength to be in control, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was really great to show because you have Mizu,
Mm-hmm.
right, which is all about the strength, brute
Right.
force, and then you had Akemi, which eventually came into her own and became the seduction and and
Yeah, the
and
mental
yeah, it's all about the
prowess.
up
Yeah.
here in the mind games,
Mm-hmm.
right? The mind game, and Mizu was all about the muscle game, and so it
Mm-hmm.
was really good to see that there is a different way of having power or controlling the situation,
Mm-hmm.
having power in those situations. So I really did enjoy that, like that part with Akemi and Madam I keep forgetting her second name or her
Kaji.
name, Kaji.
Kaji.
I mean, I wanted to say Choji for whatever reason, and I'm like, that's not what it is.
Wow.
Choji is from something else.
Naruto. Choji is from
Naruto, that's
Naruto.
what it is. Yeah. But yeah, Kaji. So I thought that was really cool. I also, by the way, but how do you say his name? Tenjin.
Tenjin.
Tenjin, right? The entire time, I thought the voice of Tenjin was Dante, no, Dent
Dante Bosco.
Bosco. I thought it was Dante Bosco the entire time.
You did?
I'm like, yeah, I was like, it sounds like him, but at the same time, it doesn't have as much grit in his voice. So I'm like, maybe he's just trying to change his voice a little. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
who is the voice actor this whole? And I thought it was Dante the whole time, and I'm like, nah,
That's fair. That's fair.
maybe they almost have
You
very
know.
similar voice, but Dante just has a more grit to his voice. There is a
He kind of
very
sounds like he's laying back. I can't even do it. You know. And
yeah.
speaking of Dante Bosco, Maya Erskine, she sounded a little bit like the female version of him as Mizu. He had that kind of
I
that
can see
husk
that.
in the voice, and
Uh huh.
I'm like, okay, well, I was like, I was like, she has like a character going on with her voice outside of being Mizu. Like, obviously, that's now Mizu's voice. She was, she sounded like a lot like Zuko, but
Yeah,
with that female tone.
a
And
little bit of a higher tone.
yeah. And it was funny too. Like first time you heard Mizu talk, I was like, "Oh, that's a girl." You know what I mean? I was like,
Right, right.
but I'm like, she sounds a little bit like Zuko if Zuko was a girl. you know,
I'm
like
pretty. I'm pretty sure, like drawing wise, she was never meant to fool the watcher, right?
yeah,
I don't think
she wasn't.
anybody who was watching it going when they realized she was a girl, they were like, "What?
Mm,
She's a girl?" I think it was very obvious for us that she was a girl the whole time,
yep,
disguised as a man, right?
yep. Because also,
So
yeah, because little girls as orphans, you don't want to be one of those. You know, what I mean?
no,
in that time
yeah,
frame. Nope.
and especially her. I mean, they kept,
Blue eyes.
they kept calling her an oni, right? She
Yeah.
because she had blue eyes. That was always the problem with her character. She had blue eyes, and I don't know if you know this, but naturally, Japanese people don't have blue eyes,
Nope.
nor blonde hair. They're brown, eyes,
Right.
black hair, and that's their thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
her having blue eyes always gave her away that she was half European, half
Yeah.
English, or whatever the heck, wherever those characters are,
You
the
know,
Europeans came from.
this was actually one of the only shows I've seen where the Japanese folks aren't idolizing that eye color. Like if you look about it, like blue eyes, like Gojo from Jujutsu, Dragon Ball Z, Goku. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
necessarily blue, but it's
blonde hair and all
like
that. Yeah,
teal, blonde hair.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
like they love that look. So it's the first time seeing that these people or the local people of Japan is like monster Onizuka. I don't know, well not Zuka, but Oni.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Onryo.
No, and I thought that was I thought that's what I mean, not that I thought, I that's what I enjoyed, right? Because Japan, feudal Japan, they're kind of like North Korea in the sense that they were very hermit, like
Mm,
no in, no out,
hmm.
right? There was no foreign connection with other people. It was all about Japan, and you keep everything within the island of Japan. And if anything foreign came in, it would destroy it very quickly. They
Yep.
didn't like foreigners. So
Yep.
having that reflection that you had Europeans coming in, and I mean Europeans on top of it. Let's be honest. At that time period, the West was very cocky of themselves. They thought
Oh
they
yeah.
were freaking second to God, right?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
So not only do they come in, but I'm sure they came in thinking they were better than the Japanese,
Yeah.
and that probably just
Till they met
the
Roni
Japanese
Kenshin,
already, right,
Batosai.
right,
You know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, and
Yeah.
he wrecks them.
Yeah. He wrecked him. He wrecked
But
him.
so yeah, I enjoyed that they kept that reflection of the hatred Japanese people had to Europeans,
Hmm.
right? And the strictness that anything foreign must be destroyed and can't be brought into the country.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
I did like that part. Yeah.
did you like the pace of
The
the
series.
show?
I
Yeah.
did. I did. There was actually a really cool part. So throughout the beginning, I want to say the first 5 episodes, you believe that you've gone through Mizu as a child all the way up to current Mizu. But
Yeah.
no, there is part of an episode about Mizu before she went on her hunt. She does
Right.
find the woman that she calls mother. She does find her. And that woman tells her to get married. And she finally gets married. Now, this is where okay, so that kid, the one that, spilled the beans on Mizu,
Yeah. Yeah.
that
The rat.
I don't like that kid. And I ended up not liking the person that Mizu ended up marrying. The only reason is because he's a coward. But
Uh huh.
in the beginning, he seemed legit. He seemed 100% legit. Like I swear he probably was if she wasn't so strong. You know what I mean? He blames her
Hmm.
eyes for having such incredible strength. When she was having everything, she he they even they shared a bed together, and then the next day he wanted to fight her, and I'm like, I'm like, I don't
Right.
know, because we've already seen her. But then again, like I said, I thought this was like another timeline. I thought this was like what would have happened if her mom stayed alive, right? That's the whole
Oh.
time.
Yeah.
And then she beats him and he calls her a monster. I was like, bro, I would have been like, yo, babe, when we having kids, we're about to be the strongest family up in this thing. You know what I'm saying? I was like, of course, of course. And then it brings me back to what you said about Madame Kaji to Akemi. You know what I mean? Men are kind of dumb, you know?
Yeah.
And
They have to be the strongest,
yeah, 100%.
right? They have to, or at least they have to believe to be strong, the strongest in the room, because if they're not, then it hurts their ego.
It does, and they doubt themselves, and they are no longer, what is it, dependable.
Right.
On another note, I see something flying in my
I thought it was a ghost this entire time.
dude. I was like,
But
do you see ghost orbs?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought it was dust at first, but since it kept coming, I'm like, oh, it must be some kind of like gnat or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is kind of incredible that there's a gnat big enough that the camera is picking it up.
Yeah.
You got one heck of a.
Can you write in my book? Sup? You write in my book. You write in it. Are you here?
Are you here?
All right. Anyway, so yeah, so when they fight together and he loses fantastically. By the way, like she grabs him, she's she feels like she's dancing with him. You know what I mean? And he is getting completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And you know, and you're right. Men at that time frame, if they don't feel that they're the strongest, they don't believe that they can provide for their family anymore. And most of the time would be like, you know, themselves off or run away, you know, as a coward, like he did.
Right.
Anyway, when all of a sudden those what is that? The mom comes out, she's like, "Why'd you have to go and do that? Da 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 da. Da. I did the best for you." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, to be honest, I was like, "Why'd you beat him up so bad?" I was like, Why'd you have to do that? But you know, she trusted him wholeheartedly. That's why. And
well, and I mean,
and I didn't like him.
I have to agree with you. I feel like because you see his character and you're like, oh wow, he seems like the kind of guy who's gonna understand her.
Yeah, he did.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Until he just realized that she's a better fighter than he is.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that hurt his ego and he left or whatever. And then you're like, damn, I guess you're not any different from most of these other guys, right? In that time period, because it's just like,
well, at least he was.
You felt belittled by her ability.
Oh yeah. He felt like a
child. So yeah, and then when you saw those soldiers come, to kill her.
Oh yeah,
and
I was like, who?
I thought it was him. I was like, really, bro? Why would you?
I thought it was him, especially because he went there and he's like, I'll leave, and I'm like, bro, rush then. Yeah, that's your wifey, dude.
He did what he. Unless he's lying, what he went to go do was get his sword, because he did come back and he had his sword in his hand by then. But by that time, she just wrecked them all. He's like, I just killed all of them.
Yep. And she kills the person that she considers mom, and then
no, they kill each other. The husband, her husband and her mom kill each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they started fighting. No, he killed the mom.
Yeah,
and then Mizu kills him.
Yep. I remember that. Okay, I remember now.
And I was like, dang.
Well, sad. We don't know if he killed her or she killed him. Sorry, I think that she slashed him, but he could still be saved. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. We never know. I know dead, for sure the mom is dead because I believe he cut off her head.
The mom is definitely dead.
Yeah.
And by the way, about the mom, the reason why Iz is saying, who she called mom was because you come to realize that ain't her mom. That's just another concubine that worked with her mom that was put in charge of taking care of her after Mizu was born. Yep. So this whole time this is her mom, and it's not. And by the way, her mom, this mom, not her real mom. We don't know what happened to her real mom, if she's alive or dead. I think they said actually she's still alive, if I remember well. But this mom, the fake mom, faked her death when she was a little child, so she can run away from her. Man, I mean, this lady was horrible.
Yeah, the lady was
horrible. She was messed up.
Yeah, and so
I mean, no wonder Mizu's all screwed up in the head.
Right? I was like, oh, come on,
can't trust nobody.
And Mizu was called an Onryo, which is, I guess, a demon woman that was betrayed or something like that. And I was just like, that's crazy, because Phasmophobia just picked up Onryo as a ghost. And I don't like those ghosts in Phasmophobia because I die every time. But that's beside the point. And I thought that was really cool that, they brought, they made a whole art of who she was. She was using her woman look, her female look, I'm like, yeah, dude, yeah, that's a realized Mizu, you know what I mean? Super Saiyan Mizu. And it was really refreshing to see that storyline not be a timeline that would have happened, but a timeline that did happen, you know what I mean? And because of that, it all started with her whoever her father was, and that is basically Mizu's story, is looking for her. The manhunt is looking for her father and killing him.
And kill him, along with the other three. Technically now the other two, because she already killed one of the. She never killed father. Westerners.
Oh, you're talking about Violet?
No. She killed already one before she went looking for Fowler. Before the show started, she already killed one of them.
That's right.
Because when she found Fowler, she said that there were, there's only 3 of you left. I need to know where the other 2 are, when she was talking to Fowler.
I see. Okay.
So she already killed one of them, but she is looking for her father. She didn't kill Fowler?
No, because she needed him alive because that's at the end. They went to London.
Where's Fowler?
Fowler's in the probably in the prison. Ain't nobody like that dude. She probably had help. You know what I mean? Fowler was the reason why that place of Edo.
Why can't I think of?
Because she's like,
correct me if I'm. the burning of Edo, is that a real thing? I feel like it was. I know there's a famous fire in feudal Japan. Like it burned up an entire city, and I was wondering if that was it.
Possibly, but I don't think it was because of a samurai and a
No, 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 no. I
or
think
because of the Western takeover.
yes, uh the great fire of Mary Meireki.
Meireki?
I knew there was I remember a long time ago hearing a story of a huge fire that happened in Japan during the feudal times. Um, but when they did the fire of Edo, I was like, is that the same fire? But this time they're like talking about it. This was the reason why. But I'm not sure what the actual reason is.
It says that
But it could have been
it was
Edo.
because of a kimono. Well, the Great Fire of Meireki is it was accidentally started by a priest that was cremating an alleged cursed kimono. This kimono has
Well,
been owned by 3 teenage girls, and they all died before ever trying it on. And when the garment was being burned, a gust of wind fanned the flames, causing the wooden temple to ignite,
catching everything else on fire.
catching everything else on fire. That's the most
So
wildest
destroy
story.
67% of Japanese capital. Oh yeah, it is in Edo. Yeah, destroying 60 to 70% of Japan's Japanese capital city of Edo. So it did happen in Edo.
Yeah,
I knew it was. I
in
knew.
the
I was
Hongo
wondering if that was the
district.
case. So that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny that in the show that the reason for the fire was the invasion
Hmm.
of Edo by the
Oh yeah,
by Fowler,
a
right?
lot of this,
Instead of a cursed
a lot of the
cursed
storytelling of Japan,
Komodo.
of in different animes, all have certain events that happen that will create that
Yeah,
event. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if Jujutsu Kaisen does that, where it's like, oh, back in 1960s, this happened here, and but in reality, in 1960s, it did happen there, but the story is different. You know what I mean?
the reason behind
Like
it.
this
Yeah,
is the
yeah, I get
real
what you're saying.
story in this fictitious series.
Yeah, what everybody believes is this. Everybody believed that the reason why Edo caught on fire was because of a cursed
Yeah.
Komodo, but in reality, it was because Fuller attacked it with his own army.
Okay.
But yeah, no.
I
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You finish yours because mine would probably talking about something else.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. I was gonna move on to talk about the fighting scenes in this show.
Oh yeah,
Were fire.
they're
Were so
absolutely
good.
great. Yeah,
They were fantastic. When she fought what was it? The four fangs?
yeah. On the mountain.
On the mountain. That was
Yeah,
sick. And she's like just balancing on the rocks or whatever, and she's cutting people up. And then you find out that the leader of the four fangs was one of the
the
guys
Chiaki
that
guy.
the father's sword.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
father's sword made the sword for him, and it was broken.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept it. He's like, yeah, this is my my calling card, pretty much,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
his broken sword. So I thought that
And
was pretty cool.
also, I like the fight where Mizu is going up against everybody in the brothel, Madame Kaji's brothel.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The all that whole
Yeah,
gang.
yeah. I was like, yeah. And I'm like, I know that she's strong and everything like that, but I doubt she would have been able to get out of underneath that door. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Oh right,
why
right,
was
right.
everybody stepping on it, pierce that door? I was like, you guys want to
I
end
was
it,
thinking
right?
the same
Or
thing.
end this samurai,
Yeah, I
right?
was like,
But like Akemi, plot armor. You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking that right now, like because of the plot armor.
But
But no, I agree. When she was trapped underneath, I'm like, okay, you guys have her pinned now. Just whoop,
mhm,
just with your little claw things, just stab her underneath
exactly.
the thing. But it was really dope to see that her sword became a spear.
Yeah,
Or it's not a spear, but whatever it's called, the spear
it's
like
a
weapon.
naginata.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Naginata. Yeah, it was really dope that her weights that she always carries around
Hmm.
became the rest of the staff of
And that's her
the Naginata.
husband's.
I was like,
That's her husband's weapon.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
So that was pretty
I
dope.
was like,
That was pretty
that
dope.
means she still loved
She
him.
learned something
She
from
still
him.
loved him in a way.
Yeah. So I thought that was that fight was sick too. All the fight scenes in this thing were really good.
Yeah. Even the fight between her and her husband, ex-husband, like that
Yeah.
was a really nice. Like when she okay, the one of my favorite moves that Mizu has is where she grabs the hand and grabs their head with her hand and then like just gently comes across and then slice, not with her hand but with the other hand. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know why, but that looks very seductive and lethal at the same time. She's like, "What's up, dude? I'm a chick. that's about to slice you in half. And I'm like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that same brothel scene, I did enjoy Akemi's part where she come because you had Ringo at the bottom of the staircase protecting the ladies from in the basement if any of the gangsters came in. But Akemi comes out and she's like, "If I'm going to die, I'm going to die free." I was like, "I respect that. I respect that. Go ahead." And she has like a blade that only like an inch and a half long or something. It's just like this long, 2 inches. And I'm like, I mean, you're gonna kill somebody at least.
And then I think she stabs him, but Ringo kills the guy, right? And that was, I think, Ringo's first kill.
He kills somebody with with his axe.
He was
hand.
Yeah, and so a lot of expectations came with this show after like that husband episode. Like I'm like, oh, she's about to kill this Fowler dude, and I was definitely taken. It was definitely weird when. Oh, I should also mention that I do not like the animation style. I'm not a big fan of that, so I don't really watch a lot of animes. The fighting in there with that animation, top tier. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. When she was with Fowler, she was already like she got messed up in that castle already. And because of blood going through the grout lines, I was like, all right, whatever.
Oh, when it alerted that one guard.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Are you talking about that
when
part?
does a guard just look down? I'm pretty sure he just keeps his eyes and then walks around, right? No, this guy so happens to look down. But anyway,
he has very low self-esteem.
Yeah.
That scene though. That scene is me every time I'm playing Assassin's Creed, and I'm supposed to sneak into the place and assassinate everyone. And the first guy I meet, it messes up, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm just gonna battle my way through. That was that entire scene. I was thinking of that. I'm like, yeah, that's me in Assassin's Creed for sure. You have a whole plan of just trying to sneak through, and it doesn't work out.
Oh, jeez. Dude, yeah, no, I thought it was weird, but I didn't expect.
I agree. I was like, really? The blood is just going to follow the trail? Like, this? Are you telling me this floor is not that level?
Yeah, right.
It tilts down that direction. Yeah, no, that was interesting for sure. And yeah, when she got to fighting with Ringo, not Ringo, Fowler. I was like, girl, you ain't going to win this fight. You are like almost dead yourself. Yeah. First of all, you're high from the poppy seeds or whatever the heck flower there was that they blew in your face. You've been attacked by, was it chimpanzees or bamboos or whatever there was? I think it was bamboos.
Baboons?
There was some kind of monkey. Yeah, that's what I said, bamboos.
Baboos?
Bamboons.
Baboons.
Bamboons. That's not how you say it?
It's B-A-B. Baboons.
Baboons.
N at the end. Baboons.
Oh, baboons?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
You're saying bamboons. I was like, bamboons. It's like Bambi.
That makes more sense now, because I've always wondered, like, why does it sound so close to bamboo? Like, that's such a bad name for an animal, because then nobody's going to know you're talking about the animal or the plant.
Are they a delicacy to pandas?
Right? That's hilarious. But so I thought that whole like every level got worse kind of situation, and then she had to fight the no name, the guy that never spoke, and he had the big club in his hand.
Oh, that guy. I forgot his name too. They said it like 3 times. But yeah, when she fought him, oh man, I was just like,
bro,
oh,
are you gonna
in the fire too?
He had to blow him up and everything.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean, it was great. The fighting scenes in this show were fantastic. Can't complain about it. Really, about the fighting scenes.
But when she hopped out of the castle in front of Fowler, because she was definitely going to lose with Tengen. I think it's Tegan instead of Tengen. Tegan, because it's
Tegan. It's Taigen.
Yes, it's Tegan. Okay, so Tegan.
Yeah, Tegan.
So she helps Tegan, because Tegan took in some heat. He got hurt bad, and you see that they leave because she's like, all right, Ringo, I'll be this samurai you want me to. And I'm like, why do you think of Ringo? Just like, I was like, why did Ringo pop up? But I guess it's because of her morals kicked back in.
Right. Well, Ringo left because she let Akemi get taken back to her father. Yeah. Right, and he's like, how could you just let that happen? That's kind of messed up. So she either can let. Yeah. That's why Ringo left, because she's like, yeah, you can take her. I don't care. What? And Akemi's like begging her not to let her go because she wants to find
Yeah,
Tegan.
that makes
You know,
sense.
so it's like either let Tegan die at the castle or
Yeah.
she runs away with him,
Mhm.
and obviously that's what happens.
Yeah.
Which is probably the best choice,
Yeah.
really, because you were going to die.
Yeah.
There was no way you were going to win that fight against Fowler.
Yeah. And you know,
Fowler somehow some fantastic fighter.
speaking of Tegan, I knew. Okay, so remember they had that little roll around scene where he pops
Yeah,
the morning wood.
the Mulan scene.
Is it the Mulan scene? I
Uh,
thought that's the
Well, I'm just
Lion
saying it's
King
Mulan
scene.
because it's like no. I'm saying Mulan because it's a guy with a guy who has feelings for her, but he doesn't know it's a her.
It's close situation, yes, but yeah, because I don't think Tegan had any feelings for
Oh no,
Mizu.
he has feelings for her. He has
Now he
feelings for her.
does, but because the way that Mizu touches him is familiar to him. He's like, he's like,
Right.
this is weird, and
Yeah.
I'm like, the way that she sat on him, I'm like, girl, and I'm like, okay, I didn't expect that to happen, but it did. What I did expect to happen was with Akemi. I knew that I was like, I'm so glad that Akemi wants to be in love with somebody for the first time. But Tengen got too much. He got too much on his mind with Mizu already, right? And I'm all like, oh, she's probably gonna go with the second son of the Shogun because it only makes sense. He's powerful, and she wants to be able to do whatever she wants. And to do that, she needs to be powerful because Madame Kaji told her to. What
Yeah.
sucks? Oh, dude, what sucks is for the other girls that worked under Madame Kaji. That was going to be her, the women, or I don't know what they're called, they're like her court ladies, and she was going to hire them all, like for sure, and one of them dies because of her dad. Remember?
Yeah.
That came out of no. I was like, oh, he works for Fowler too, and I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
come on, dude, not her. She was the meanest one to Akemi, and Akemi was like, "That's all good, dude. No problem. I'll take care of you." I was like, "Heck yeah."
Changed her,
Yeah,
and then she
yeah,
dies.
that was So that I didn't expect. But what I did expect was her change to Tengen, where she's like, "I want to be great, and I only know one way to do that." And I was like, so Tengen just lost the love of his life, and she is just gonna go for power. And I was just like, well, Akemi's whack, but it makes sense. It makes sense for her character to do that. She's gonna be strong, but like unless Tegan's like her retainer, then it doesn't make much sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't make much sense for Tegan and her, or it wouldn't make any sense to keep her around. You know what I mean? Because Mizu did betray her. So if Akemi does come back, it'll be as a villain, 100%.
I mean, they won't definitely like each other. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that. They would not. Akemi definitely has a grudge towards Mizu, but at the same time,
Mizu did save them.
At the same time, Mizu by Mizu doing this to Akemi was able to mature into her role much more properly. Right, she became
absolutely
a naive girl who wanted nothing but love to a woman who understands
the way of the world,
how to take control of her life.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Madame Kaji, baby.
So and that's kind of thanks to Mizu for kind of letting her go, which is, I'm not saying it was great. It was a good thing of her, but it was like because of that she became who she is. I definitely think that Kemi is going to fall in love, or if she hasn't already, she will fall in love with the second son because he's not what people think he is, right? Everybody talks about how he's this mean, horrible man who abuses women and all this stuff, but you just realize that he's just very self-conscious of himself because he has a stutter, and in Japan having a stutter is weakness, right? Because you're not perfect, and you have to be perfect at all times, especially if you're part of the the shogun and his family. If you're not perfect, then you're screwed. And then she realizes, oh wait, this guy is definitely not strong. He is the opposite. He's super weak, and I can take control of that. So I think she will fall in with him, and obviously Tegan is in love with Mizu.
He just don't know it yet.
Mizu's
going to London,
and Mizu,
like,
right?
What's going to happen in London?
I'm trying to wonder. I'm wondering what Mizu's gonna if Tegan is following Mizu to London or not. But that's also very interesting. I'm like, why are you going to London? This is kind of weird.
The other two guys,
because I thought all right, but I'm like, I thought all three of them were all in Japan. So why are you going to London? But I guess they're not anymore. So this brings me to the negatives that I have about this show.
Okay, lay it on us.
And really, there's only two. One, I did not like the ending of this show. Right? Yeah, I get it. Yeah. It's setting up for season 2. I understand that. Right? But it was just so Ugh, right? It was like really, this whole show was really building up into this great moment of her, taking her vengeance on Fuller
Mm-hmm.
to. I guess you're right. She doesn't kill him, and then goes, "Oh, okay, I'll head to London now and take vengeance on the other two."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? That
Yeah,
was kind
it kind
of
of just like
stupid.
diminishes the whole part of her
The
going
climax
back
just
to
kind of
Ringo them. You know what I mean? Her
right,
leaving them
right.
kind of diminishes unless they're with her. We don't know yet because all of a sudden it just shows her on a boat. So we don't know if Ringo and Tegan are together.
My guess is that they're not with her, but they will both go to Japan. I keep saying Japan. They'll both go to London seeking her. Right.
Well, who would know? I guess just the boat people would know. Akemi would know. Yeah,
Yeah,
Akemi would know.
probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was definitely one of the things that I did enjoy. Talking about the animation, I also am not the biggest fan of this kind of animation, but it really didn't bother me. I remember watching the previews for it, and I was like, "Oh man, I don't know about like this because of the animation."
Yeah.
But after watching it, it's such a good show that you don't even pay attention to the animation anymore. It's part of the show. Like I think if personally if they changed it to the more common animation that they do for animes, I think it would bother me a little bit because it's not that show. The show is definitely made to be like this,
Hmm.
how it's drawn, and I don't think they should ever change that. I mean, not that they
Yeah.
will, but I think how they did it was good. It works well with the show. That's not a complaint. I agree with you that that kind of animation is not my forte. I don't really enjoy
Yeah.
it that much, but in this case, it worked really well. My second real complaint, and this is truly probably the biggest complaint I have, is the explicit scenes of the show. I didn't enjoy those. I
Just
had
dangling
no
it.
to right. I didn't enjoy them. To me they were just like, why do you have these scenes in here for?
Just to
I
make
don't
it
get it.
because it's real life ish.
I mean, I understand that, but it doesn't give anything to the show. It doesn't do anything for the show. On the contrary, I would say because there's some explicit scenes in it that it takes away from a certain audiences to be able to watch it, right? Because Randolph, for example, because Randolph also watched this, he just unfortunately wasn't able to be on this episode with
Hmm.
us. But I told him because he has kids. I told him make sure not to watch this with your
Yeah.
kids because there are some parts in here that are gonna make them very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Or make you very uncomfortable. Like they're inappropriate scenes for children, right? Not that the fighting scenes are appropriate for kids, but I don't know. The goriness of life is a little bit more dulled down these days. Like it's desensitized.
Hmm.
But like sex scenes and the scene with Fowler at the brothel where he's
Oh
getting
yeah, yeah, yeah.
penetrated, I'm just like, what the actual heck? Like, so really, they to me, I get it. Fowler is a twisted dude, and he enjoys his twisted things in life, right? Because it's not only that. I mean, there was a scene where he was drawing a bull ramming up a person, right? And when you see the actual picture, the guy is like all disformed or whatever, and like guts everywhere. So it's like, yeah, this guy's Fowler's definitely off his
Hmm.
hinges. He's a crazy
Hmm.
psychopath. But yeah, to me, the explicit scenes, the sex scenes, they were just for me. I'm like, I don't really need those. They didn't do anything for me. Like they didn't add to the flavor of the show. I get it. Real life, there's people like that.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
understand.
If you
But
think about it as like a regular show, like Game of Thrones, you know what I mean?
right,
Like you don't necessarily need them, but those scenes build the character up. Like for Akemi, when she slept with the Shogun's son, she
right.
was gaining power. That's what I saw that as. It wasn't She wasn't like just doing it to do it. She was doing it to gain
No,
power.
I get it. I get it.
And
I understand completely the points
and
behind those
right.
scenes.
Well, I mean, no, that's how I viewed those scenes as. Like when
Right, right,
Mizu
right,
was
right.
with her ex husband or her former husband, or his ex husband.
Formal. I mean, you think he's still
I
alive,
think he's
but
still alive. Well, her ex husband. Let's say her ex husband. She opens up herself to her. Basically, she becomes vulnerable
right,
with
right,
him,
right.
and that was the first time she ever did. And I was just like, okay. And but the one that didn't do anything for me was the one where she did with Tegan. She was just a young girl that was just like in love. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is weird. I was like, there's
Yeah.
there's nothing because we know nothing about both characters. All we know is that he is the best and she is a princess. He's the best samurai in the city, and she is the best, or she's a princess. And I'm like, cool. Like you could have just showed a silhouette and that's it. Now they showed the whole entire scene. And so, and then the thing with the Fowler, I didn't want to be remembered about. I didn't want to remember that, but yeah, with the Tengu mask.
You're
Oh,
welcome.
dude. Anyway,
Yeah.
not. I don't want to get too into it, but yeah, I would say I get your issues. I also I'm the animation style isn't my favorite, but the storyline really made up for it. The story was so good. I don't think and the comedian on Instagram, his Kev on stage, he watched that, and because of that, he wanted to get to put his feet in the anime water, so to speak, and
Yeah.
and then he's like, yo, put inside here, what is similar shows like Blue Eye Samurai. I know that there's a lot of young to like maybe young adults, like maybe 25 and under, was probably going to hit them up with a bunch of the mainstream stuff. And I was totally right. They said Attack on Titan, they said Death Note, they said Jujutsu Kaisen, they said Demon Slayer, right? Four of those. And I'm all like, well, they all have different attributes to the Blue Eye Samurai, but none of them are like that. You know what I mean?
I was just thinking that
And
too.
I'm
Yeah.
all like, I was like, the closest thing that would probably be the best thing to watch to me, what out of the four that I just said, would be Death Note. Death Note has the dopest story, and
Until L dies.
well, yeah, but like, I mean, the storyline is really just really good. And for those
No,
who
yeah, I
didn't
agree.
watch Death Note, I'm sorry.
Yep.
If you're watching this,
But that came out in like 2003.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if you haven't watched it, I don't know what to tell you.
and I was like, Attack on
Actually, it was
Titan,
like 2008.
Attack on Titan and Jujutsu Kaisen, as well as Demon Slayer. I mean, most of their stuff is on their animation. The animation is freaking top tier on those three shows. There was also My Hero Academia, and I was like, a lot of those storylines aren't they're like huge stories, right? There's like with multiple seasons. Blue Eye Samurai will definitely have multiple seasons, but I don't see it being a very long run, only because of the how would you say, the character of the show. Well, not the character of the show,
Yeah.
like Mizu, but the show as a whole. It's very dark tone, and a lot of those don't really last in the animation world. At least none that I've seen. I was like, Roni Kenshin's, what was it called, X, Samurai X. That's 4 episodes long. I would say it's about the same kind of feel as the Blue Eye Samurai. And I'm all like, you know what? Let me give this comedian some good ones. I gave him Samurai Champloo, which should have been number one.
That's what I thought.
Samurai
That's what I
Champloo.
thought. Literally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Afro Samurai. Afro
yeah.
Samurai is
Yep.
100% around that same kind of.
Afro Samurai is a much closer choice
to Blue Eye.
Blue Eye.
Yeah.
Blue Eye.
Blue
Why
Eye
did I want
Samurai?
to say Blue Eye White Dragon? What are we, Yu-Gi-Oh right now? Blue Eye Samurai.
Time to duel. And then the last one was, I said Drifters. Drifters.
Samurai Jack. You forgot Samurai Jack.
I didn't watch Samurai Jack.
What?
I mean, I tried to.
Samurai Jack was
I wasn't really big on it when I was a kid. And
okay. I respect.
But I did watch a few episodes, but not enough to understand the story. But I did know the bad guy was like that dragon thing that people do on Chinese New Year's and stuff like that. Like, I was like, yo,
I know what you're talking about.
I was like, yo, this bad guy looks dope. So he was. I just lost my train of thought. Oops. Oh yeah, the show, the Drifters. The reason why I chose Drifters was because the main character, I forgot his name. He was from that time period, like 500 in time period of Nobunaga, trying to unite all of Japan. Like, he was the main character, and I was just like, that dude is awesome. I was just like, and he's resilient, which is what Mizu is. And I was like, Drifters would be perfect. And I was like, how come people aren't giving them the real ones? Like, why all these big ones where there's like 100+ episodes to watch? I was like, that's not how you ease someone in. You give someone like a 24 episode one, that's a little bit much. But you give like a little 11, that little 12 episode, sure. But you didn't have that if you're gonna try to find anything similar to Blue Eyed Samurai. See, you almost made me say White Dragon.
I would say, because I definitely thought of Samurai Champloo as one. Afro Samurai is actually, that's a pretty good one, actually. That works really well. One that I thought of, which isn't a samurai, but it is about a revenge story. In my opinion, one of my favorite animes of all time. I've watched this anime multiple times, and that's saying something. I don't like rewatching things, but this show I have watched probably 3 to 4 times
Okay.
already. Code Geass. Code Geass is a great anime, and I think Code Geass is a good follow for Blue Eyes, because it's just like it's about a character trying to take revenge on the people who harmed his family. If you're trying to look for that, Code Geass is a great show to
Mhm.
watch, in my opinion.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, all these mainstream that you talk, I love them all. Don't get
Yeah,
me
for
wrong,
sure.
I
Same.
enjoy all of those
Same.
animes. But it's like saying, it's like, man, tell me a great show that's like Ninja Turtles, and you go and say, I don't know, like freaking My Ponies or something.
Or Care
I'm just like,
Bears,
what?
or you know,
Or
yeah,
Care Bears. Like it's like they're not the
yeah.
same thing.
And then when the obvious,
It's because there's a group of
yeah,
them.
yeah, right. I was when the obvious choice is Battletoads. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Right. No. I mean, those are great shows, but I don't think those are shows that, if you're looking for vengeful or samurai kind of feudal Japan feel.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going feudal Japan, the ones you mentioned, definitely I
Yeah.
agree. If you're going for like a revenge story,
Code
I would
Geass.
say Code Geass.
That's a good one.
I would say Code Geass.
And yeah, if you're looking for like fighting and stuff like that with really cool storyline of history, Drifters would definitely be that one for you. And you know, I know a lot of people probably are screaming it in this to the screen, or screaming it in their cars listening, or however you're listening to this podcast. But Roni Kenshin is also up there too. It's just that
Yeah, no, for
Roni
sure.
Kenshin is a little bit lighthearted versus Samurai X. If you watch Samurai X, which is the prequel to Roni Kenshin, then yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And if you have any other animes that you think this show would, like a good follow up after this show, put it in the comments. I would like to know what they are, because maybe I haven't watched
Yep.
it, and I will watch it.
And yeah,
I haven't watched Drifters, so I'll watch
yeah,
that.
Drifters.
I don't think I've
I
watched
read it.
Drifters.
I read the manga. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Is there an anime of it?
Yes, there is. 13 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, yeah, and they're short. They're short
Mhm.
and sweet. Like if you're not trying to commit yourself to a really long one, yeah, those are definitely the ones to go
Yeah.
watch.
If you're trying to ease a friend in, don't give them those friggin' 100 or 50 plus. Like what? I remember
Right.
my first 50 episodes. It was what was it called? Oh, Law of Ueki. And it was just about this kid who gains powers of a tree. And he battles other people who had gained powers at the same time. And I didn't realize that the show was 52 episodes. Mind you, this is around the time I was in college, and this is where anime you could watch on YouTube, and it was broken up in 3 parts. So it was like 9 minutes at a
Oh, I
time. You know what I
hated
mean? And
that.
so
Yeah.
yeah. So I used to have windows up. Like I would have like 5 windows stacked, and each one would have 3 each. And so I just, exit and then watch again. You know what I mean? Like I had a whole system. And
Yo, this
yeah.
guy is crazy.
52 episodes. The Law of Ueki, one of my favorite longer animes. I kind of wish it went further in the animation, but it only went further in the manga. But yeah, that's not how you ease people in. Because I was like, after I passed 25, oh, is this a recap? It wasn't. It was literally the next episode. And I was like, oh snap. So anyways, let's get to the grading. So for the Blue Eye Samurai, the grade I give it is a B. I give it a B. Great animation, fighting scenes, awesome stories. A couple of things I didn't agree with, like the cowardice husband. Oh man, I was really, really hoping, and this is just my opinion of it, not the actual grade. This is just what I watched. It's just a B. Okay, for me, it's a B, especially with Akemi's decision to like, all right, Tegan, I know you did a lot to get to me, but yeah, deuces. I'm like, dang. I was like, it's like that, Akemi. All right. See you never. No.
Wow. Okay. That actually surprises me. Because I'm probably, for the first time ever, I think I'm gonna give it a higher grade than you. I give it. I don't, not that much more. I get it an A minus. A minus. I really enjoyed it. Like every time the episode ended, I was already on the next one. I was like, let's go. Let's go to the next one. Let's see what happens. Yeah. And the reason why it's not a A plus for me is because of the sex scenes, or the explicit scenes in general. I thought they were just. I'm just not for those kind of things. Call me a prune if that's what you want to call me. But I just like, if it doesn't, I get what you're saying. Like her doing it with the second son, like it's showing her gaining power.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I understand that, but you could do that in a different way. You don't have to show the whole dang scene, right? In my opinion, right? And then so that's just my opinion of it. And then the ending, the cliffhanger where she's leaving Japan to go to England
Right.
or whatever. I didn't like that. I was like, that's doo doo. It's doo doo. So that's why. But I get it. It's a cliffhanger for the next season. Hopefully they do come out with the second season, which I'm pretty sure, because I'm pretty sure this is like in the top 10 shows on Netflix right now. So it freaking I probably did a great job. Yo, Netflix is coming out with some great animated series right now. Okay, where Marvel is failing completely in their movies and shows, Netflix is bringing it up with their animated series, with their animes and stuff. Because you got Blue Eye Samurai, you got Daemon. I think we'll be doing a review on that. If you want a review of that, definitely let us know. Daemon is fantastic, right? You have I hear Pluto is great, which I gotta watch. They're doing some great stuff, and then there's the other animes. Like animes right now are just banging
Animes
them
are
out.
always
They're doing
banging,
so
all
good.
right?
That's true.
Solo Leveling
That's
is about
true.
to come out
But
this week.
they're like a little different though, because most of the animes that we watch are very similar. Like they all have similar storylines. But these two have been kind of different. They're not the normal cookie cutter animes, right? Not that that's a problem, because I enjoy any kind of anime. I watch them all the time, even the ones that are the exact same. K dramas are very much the same. They're all the same thing, but I enjoy watching them anyways. But yeah, so I give it an A- for sure. Can't wait for season 2 to come out. And if there's another show out there that we haven't mentioned that you want us to watch, definitely leave it in the comments. We'd be more than happy to watch it. Yeah, so
well, that's going to wrap up this episode. Don't forget to follow us on IG, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Anchor FM. You can listen to us every Monday on Overcast, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to check out our videos, and please leave a comment. And don't forget to turn it to 11.